Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky, this is Lucky Legend TV. I'm your host for this video, and it is time for some Lucky Analytics. Sorry, I gotta get situated. Lucky Analytics team building. And this is Core Strength 2. As I'm sure you all remember, Core Strength 1 with Bronzong and Drapion. Together they make a very good core, only weak to fire, which is very easy to fix, very easy to deal with. But I was thinking, I was laying in bed at night thinking, are there any two Pokemon that when you put them together actually perfectly complement one another? And I was thinking, and I gave up on that. And I thought, okay, well, what are some good defoggers? Pokemon that can use defog that only take 6%. Well, 6.25%. So that way, if you switch it on rocks, you regain the rest of your health by leftovers. And you're back at 100%. And there are only two Pokemon that can do that. Flygon and Empoleon. So, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna build a team around Empoleon. And I'm like, Empoleon makes a great special wall, so I need a good physical wall. What's a good physical wall in the tier? And I was looking through some stuff, and I'm like, well, Gligar is a good physical wall. It's an Eviolite-Mon, which is a nice thing to have. And, you know, it's got decent speed, decent attack, and it has access to Stealth Rock and Defog itself, and it has access to reliable recovery in the form of Bruce. So I'm like, you know what, let's go with Gligar. Which is when I realized that Empoleon and Gligar put together have 0 unchecked weaknesses. Gligar is weak to water, which Poseidon resists. Gligar is double weak to ice, which Empoleon double resists. Empoleon is weak to electric. Gligar is immune. Empoleon is weak to fighting. Gligar resists. Empoleon is weak to ground. Gligar is immune. They literally form a perfect core, because there are no unchecked weaknesses. And I thought, let's keep going with that and see if we can find a Pokemon that furthers that. I wanted to be able to add another Pokemon to the team without creating any unchecked weaknesses. And that is where we got Frosting. Slurpuff. Originally, I had this as Florges. I had it as a physically defensive Florges, bold, with Calm Mind. However, it was not doing so well because we were having a lot of trouble with really fast Pokemon. So I figured, well, so eventually I had Florges, but I replaced it with Slurpuff. The main point here is that I knew I needed a mono flying type. Mono fairy type. Sorry. So I got myself my Slurpuff. And that was really the purpose of the 3-part core right here. I'll go into the remaining 3 Mons after I go through these in detail. So, the start of this team was Poseidon, the Empoleon with leftovers. I go Torrent because I don't have any physical attacks. I actually have 0 attack. I have these. So for me, Defiant is pointless. Maybe to bluff a physical attack. I'm not too worried about that. We have Defog, Flash Cannon installed, and Toxic. Flash Cannon installed our for Stab. And Toxic is because I need to be able to whittle down my opponent. It's also very important for breaking focus sessions. The other reason is that it puts a timer on setup sweepers. And I have, you know, some of those on my team as well, but it puts a timer on them so you don't have to worry about it as well. You may hear some screaming in the background. It is Sunday, football day. My parents are very loud. It's something that may happen. So, that was Poseidon. I could have put Stealth Rock on this, but I decided instead I wanted my Defog Pokemon and my Stealth Rock Pokemon to be separate. But the thing is about this 2-part core is that they both learn Stealth Rock and Defog. However, Poseidon makes the better defogger because it resists rock, whereas Gligar is neutral. But then, of course, we have Gligar with immunity. I went with immunity because I don't want this Pokemon getting toxic and whittled down. Because Eviolite Pokemon are extremely bulky because of the Eviolite. And the main two ways to get around that are with Toxic, Burn, and Knockoff. And assuming that I can avoid getting knocked off, a Burn is the only thing that I would have to worry about. Which is, you know, it's a lot less of an issue than being Toxic. I could have gone with Hyper Cutter if I wanted to, but it really wasn't... it really didn't do much for me. As for the move choice, Earthquake, Poison Jab, Roost, and Stealth Rock. Roost is there because it is excellent, reliable recovery. We have Stealth Rock because I want hazards up. We have Poison Jab because this thing can take a hit from like a Slurpuff and that sort of stuff. It can take a hit because it's very, very, very physically bulky. And it can fire back a Poison Jab and do a good amount of damage. It's not, you know, a perfect answer. I actually want this near some death. I don't think I jammed it that way, but, you know. At level 50, it doesn't make a difference. So, Cuteness, able to handle some fairy types. It also has Earthquake because it's, you know, good stat. Physically defensive. With the Eviolite, its defense goes to 490 something. Some insane number. Like, it's ridiculous bulk. At 333 HP. Then we have Frosting. Frosting, it's just a classic Unburdened set. I run Facade because when somebody sees an Unburdened Slurpuff, with Belly Drum, they're like, I gotta burn this thing to have its attack. That's where Facade comes in. The only downside of this set, or rather the only downside of Slurpuff in general, is that it gets completely walled by Deblade. Completely walled by Deblade. And there's nothing you can do to fix that. It does not learn any physical attacks that can handle Deblade. Literally zero. Everything is either resisted or immune. Except for Thief, if you want to run Thief. Which actually isn't a horrible idea, when you think about it, because you would steal its Eviolite after your Unburden boost, but then you lose your Unburden boost, and you're, you know, back to half speed. So, you know, it's a catch-22. Running Thief, in my opinion, is not a very good idea. Max speed, Jolly. Max attack. I mean, it's a completely standard Slurpuff set. I don't know if Facade is standard. I know a lot of people run Return, but since getting burned is very common with something like this, I prefer running Facade. And when I have Slurpuff, I'm like, okay, so Slurpuff is a really good late game figure, but it's not very bulky. It has, like, decent bulk. Like, it can take, like, one attack that's not super effective and, you know, force a switch. But it's not, you know, like, it's not good bulk. It's not reliable bulk. But this Pokemon is Reuniclus with the Colbur Berry so that Knockoff does nothing. The reason I went with Knockoff, or Colbur Berry rather, the reason I went with Colbur Berry instead of Leftovers or Life Orb is because I need to be able to take out Dark types reliably. There's only one Dark type that walls me, and that is Mandibuzz. And I'm not too worried about that because Mandibuzz cannot touch us. Mandibuzz is crazy weak. It can use Knockoff once, that'll do nothing. And then after that, Knockoff will still do nothing. It could use Foul Play, well, we have 0 attack IVs and crazy high defense. So that's not going to do shit either. So this thing will beat Mandibuzz 1v1. It can set up to +6 and destroy it with Energy Ball. And it has Recover, which is why I'm not worried about it. Hard Body the Reuniclus, named of course after Pokemon MD's Reuniclus. Calm Mind, Recover, Energy Ball, Psyshock. Mandibuzz walls us, but we wall it as well. Because Mandibuzz cannot touch us. Mandibuzz has no attack. Mandibuzz is crazy weak. And with the amount of defense and HP investment that we have, I don't have to worry about it. This thing beats Crocodile. This thing beats Mandibuzz. This thing beats Absol. Because it doesn't. I don't think it beats Mega Absol. Mega Absol probably destroys us. But at like +2, well, at +1 we one-shot Crocodile. At +2 we probably one-shot Mega Absol. Like, I have set up and swept with this Pokemon so many times. And the advantage of it is that it has Magic Guard, which means that we cannot be burned, toxic. The only thing I fear with Hard Body is being paralyzed, because that has the chance to fully paralyze us. I don't mind the speed drop. Like, I don't mind sticky webs for Hard Body. I'm not worried about that. Toxic and Burn don't actually damage us, and we have no physical attack, so Burn is completely irrelevant. Paralysis is the only thing that really worries me about Hard Body. We're being put to sleep, but, you know, if something's being put to sleep, I would probably let something else get put to sleep, because this is almost always, Hard Body is almost always a win condition. And I was toying with what Mega I wanted on the team for a while. I tried like 4 or 5 different Pokemon, but eventually I settled on Archangel. Archangel the Mega Absol with Justified before it Mega Evolves, because I can switch in and take a knockoff, and then I have a +1 physical attack Mega Absol. The foreign defense is to take the knockoff a tiny bit better. Fire Blast is a 2-hit KO on stuff like Tangrowth. It's 2-hit KO on what's that fucker's name? What is that thing's name? Chestnut. That's what it is. It 2-hit KOs a lot of stuff that are weak to fire. Sucker Punch, knockoff. The reason I have Protect on there is because regular Absol is really slow. Like, really slow. I believe its regular speed stat is just complete garbage. I'm gonna show you guys right now. Regular Absol has a speed stat of 75. It gains 40 points in speed. That's a lot. It's a lot of speed. And the reason being is that at 75 base speed, it gets outsped by a lot of stuff. Including but not limited to Mega Blastoise, which is fucking pathetic because that thing's slow as hell. It's outsped by Cobalion. Not that we can really touch Cobalion. Actually, no, we have Fire Blast. It gets outsped by Cresselia. Cresselia. Are you kidding me? Cresselia? That's enough of an explanation right there. It gets fucking outsped by Cresselia. The other reason is that at +1, sorry, not at +1, after we get our speed boost, we outspeed Espeon, and we can destroy an Espeon with a knockoff. So that is the reason for having Protect, is because whenever you have a Pokemon that gets a really big speed boost, you want to have Protect on there because it will enable you to outspeed things that you would normally outspeed. And in the case of Mega Absol, where you're gaining 40 points in speed, that's a huge difference. Now, the same thing goes for Mega Beedrill. Mega Beedrill gains a crazy amount of speed. I think Mega Beedrill gains 50 points. Well, let's find out. Mega Beedrill is 145. Regular Beedrill is 75. Gains 70. Mega Beedrill gains 70 points in speed. That is insane. We, of course, do not outspeed Mega Beedrill. However, I'm not worried about Mega Beedrill. I'm really not. Because we have the last Pokemon on our team, Epilepsy. It's not my nickname. It's not my nickname. I'm pretty sure it's Viking Nat's nickname, but I think it's fine. We one-shot Mega Beedrill with Tri-Attack, because Mega Beedrill is extremely frail. And we are Scarfed, so we are guaranteed to outspeed it. You are probably wondering, why are you Scarfed Timid rather than Scarfed Modest? It is because we can outspeed Hydreigon when we are Scarfed Timid. Because Hydreigon's max speed when being run when being run Modest is 290 something. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'd show you now, but, you know, spoilers are a thing. We outspeed Hydreigon. Hydreigon is extremely common in this tier because it's an extremely good Pokemon. The reason that's why I'm running Timid, is because we can outspeed and destroy that thing with an Ice Beam. Because Scarf Hydreigon is very dangerous. However, if you're running a Scarf Hydreigon, you're probably running Modest, because Hydreigon is fast. It has base 98 speed. Which max, actually I can look it up on my phone. Look it up on my phone. Hydreigon. Hydreigon has a max speed at level 100 of 324. That's Jolly max speed. Not Jolly max speed. I believe it's... Well, we can actually find that out right now. 306. We lose 27. So, Hydreigon's max speed Modest is... Oh, well, it's just 8 more than this one. It is 288. It should be. Or 287, sorry. I believe that is Hydreigon's max speed at level 100 when it's being run Modest. So we will outspeed it. Which is why I have this set the way it is. Because what I noticed is that we kept getting outsped by Hydreigon and destroyed because Hydreigon is crazy strong. Because we were both Modest max speed, max special attack, but Hydreigon outspeeds. So, that's the team. That's really all there is to it. It's built on sweeping. It really is. It's really built on sweeping with Reuniclus and Slurpuff, with the main late game sweeper being Porygon Z. Porygon Z makes a good late game sweeper. If you get rid of all of your opponent's normal resists and immunities, Tri-Attack just tears through. Because it's an adaptability Tri-Attack with 135 base special attack. It tears through your opponent. It really, really, really does. But, you know, that's the main purpose of this team. And Mega Absol puts in work. It really does. Sucker Punch has not come in handy as often as I would have thought. However, when it does, it's extremely clutch. Because at +1, a combination of knockoff one-shots most mons that are weak to it at +1, or one-shots. Knockoff just destroys stuff at +1. And Sucker Punch one-shots most, if not all, Psychic, Ghost, and... yeah, Psychic and Ghost types at +1. And this thing turns Hoopa into a whiny little bitch. I love that. But that's really all that there is to this team. I want to thank you guys so very much for watching and for joining me here at the JoJo. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Best of luck, guys. I will see you all soon.